Hello, hello, hello. Happy Friday. Well, tomorrow is one of the biggest days in women's lacrosse. It's the quarterfinals to the 2017 NCAA Women's Lacrosse Championship. There are only 8 teams left who have the chance to hoist the trophy in just 1 week and 2 days. So we're gonna preview the quarterfinal matchups as well as give you an update on the Bracket Buster Challenge, who's winning, who's losing, and what we have decided as our winner, or what the winner will be able to do to the unfortunate losers. So to start with the 8 teams that are able to still have a chance to hoist the trophy in Boston. We have Maryland versus Stony Brook. That's a 1 versus 8 matchup. Princeton versus Penn State. That's a 5 and 4 matchup. That's one half of the bracket. Other half of the bracket, we have 2 unranked teams going up against each other. USC, who dominated Florida just a week ago, and then BC, who trounced Syracuse a week ago, to many people's surprise. Those were both considered upsets. I actually had Florida and Syracuse in the quarterfinals, so the fact that neither of them are there is a pretty big upset in my book. And then the last quarterfinal game, Navy versus UNC, the defending national championships. Unfortunately, whoops, lost that one. So the first quarterfinal matchup, the one I obviously care about most, Maryland versus Stony Brook. That one's gonna be a very interesting game. Those are 2 teams that are very highly touted, talked about a lot, and it's a Torton matchup. So you have 2 Torton finalists on Maryland with Zoe Stukenberg and Nadine Hadnaggy going up against the Torton finalists on Stony Brook, Kylie Ohlmiller. I expect that to be a very high-scoring game. Hopefully Maryland scores more. If I had to predict, I think it's gonna be Maryland. I just don't think Stony Brook has played the caliber of teams consistently that Maryland has throughout the season. And come tournament time, I think that's gonna be, that's one of the keys is your strength of schedule throughout the season to help you get prepared for postseason. So in that battle, I have Maryland. Even if I thought they would ever lose, I would still choose them, but I do think they're gonna win that battle and head to Final Four in Boston. Same bracket, or same side of the bracket, other matchup, Princeton versus Penn State. That one's gonna be a really interesting one. That's a 4 versus 5 matchup. And if I remember correctly, Princeton beat Penn State earlier this year. So Penn State will be coming back to avenge a loss. And Princeton is going to have to go to Happy Valley to play against a very, very good Penn State team. If I had to bet, I would bet it's gonna be a 1 or 2 goal game. Very close, they're very similar, very fast, athletic, aggressive, very well coached. If I had to place money, and I'm glad I didn't in this bracket buster because I'd be out a lot, I'm gonna go with Penn State. I just think they're a little more athletic, a little more dominant, and they move the ball extremely well. So in the quarterfinals that I have going in, I have Maryland versus Penn State playing in that first Final Four matchup in Gillette Stadium on May 26th. That's my bet. Other side of the bracket, that's where things get pretty interesting. You have 3 unranked teams. So first matchup, USC versus BC. That one's gonna be a tough one. I've seen BC play more than I have seen USC play this year, but I also think it's quarterfinals and anything could happen. Both very strong teams, well coached, especially USC. You have 3 current or former US players on the team that are extremely smart and extremely talented. The other side, you have Acacia Walker, who's a US coach as well, or a US player turned coach as well. I would think after watching them play, BC has the upper hand in this one, just because I saw them dominate Syracuse. Again, I think it's gonna be a 1 goal game, and I'm gonna bet BC, but I haven't been right this whole time, so who knows. And the last quarterfinal matchup that we have going, UNC versus Navy. UNC throttled UVA in the second round. Did very well. They're fast, they're athletic, they're very, very good. That's no surprise to anyone. But the big surprise is that Navy is in the quarterfinals. I saw them play Penn. They dominated. They looked extremely efficient, extremely aggressive on ball, put their chances away. And then they came out and throttled UMass. So this is a team that in its past 3 games has, with Loyola, Penn, and now UMass, they've done extremely well. I wonder if they can keep it going. I think they're gonna give UNC a game, but I still think UNC is gonna come out of that one on top. So other predictions for the next Final Four would be BC versus UNC, the Final Four in Boston. But again, what do I know? So that's a wrap in terms of who I think is making it to Final Four. I think you got a Maryland-Penn State matchup, and I think you have a BC-UNC matchup coming your way. That's a Big Ten versus ACC matchup. One of each will make it to the national championship, which is where I will make my predictions next week. But I need to give you an update on the Bracket Buster Challenge. For the Bracket Buster Challenge, it looks like Corinne is prevailing right now with 16 points. She had some interesting upset calls that she actually guessed correctly. She had JMU beating Louisville. Who else did she had? She had BC beating Syracuse. So she's had a couple that have put her well over the top. I have 13 points and Lauren has 14 points, but unfortunately Lauren's Gators didn't do so hot this weekend and she had them winning the national championship. So I think the big points are to come and that might bite her in the butt a little bit, but we'll see how it all totals up in a couple weeks. We got 2 weeks left of our Bracket Buster Challenge, so who knows what can happen. This is where the fun begins. So thanks for watching. As always, you guys are awesome subscribers, awesome fans. Means the world to me. Enjoy watching NCAA women's lacrosse this weekend. We will find out who the Final Four teams are on Saturday around 4 p.m. That's when it's going to be known. So let me know your Final Four picks. Should be interesting. Go Terps! Woo!